All right. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of the podcast. Today, we're going to talk about 3 most effective ways to be better at your job. Before we dive into these 3 things, I just want to say thank you so much. We're so happy to announce that we hit our first level of monetization. We had 500 subscribers and 3,000 watch hours on our videos. So it's awesome to see that people are actually watching our videos, asking a lot of questions, joining us in the live streams. Like, everything has been so cool, and I just really appreciate the community that is coming together, and we're really building a nice foundation for essentially like a school for people who want to learn how to cook or understand systems or how to operate a restaurant. Just all different like levels of learning and just well-rounded overall. So I'm happy that we're all going to take this journey together. Okay. So the first thing that I want to talk about is one effective way that we could be better at our jobs. Okay. The number one thing that I personally feel like you could be the best at your job, and one great trait that you could have is showing up to work on time. All right. It's extremely important, and it's very detrimental to the business to be able to be ready to go at your scheduled time. So what that means is, like, if I work at 9 a.m. as a line cook or a dishwasher, at 8:58 you should be like ready to go on your station with your uniform on, your apron, your non-slip shoes, and you're ready to work as soon as that 9 timer hits, right? A couple things that I want to give some suggestions would probably be like setting your alarm. Set like 10 alarms. I have an internal alarm, and I wake up at like 5 every day, but I still have a 5 5:05, 5:10, 5:15, just because I know that sometimes you have a long night, or sometimes it was a long shift and you're very tired, or maybe you drank a little bit. Whatever it is, there's always like, you just want to set yourself up to make sure that things like that don't happen. All right. Also, you want to make sure that you need to check your bus routes to make sure if there's any kind of construction work that's happening, or if the buses are getting rerouted, or which is notorious for the weekends. Like Saturdays, the bus run differently, and then on Sunday it's even slower. So like, just be mindful of all those things. You have different apps that'll help you see real time where a bus or a train is at. And then, Ubers too. Sometimes Ubers are not, or, any kind of pickup service like Lyft or Uber, sometimes that they're not reliable, or they say that they're going to be there at a certain amount of time. The point that I'm trying to make is just try to give yourself enough time just in case things happen, because things happen all the time. Just be more mindful of trying to prevent those things from happening, or having that fail safe if it happens, right? Reliability is a huge thing when working in probably any job field. Going to work on time, showing up on time. If you have extra time and they ask you to stay, like, being able to really allow yourself to be vulnerable to support the team and support the restaurant if you can. Obviously there's a lot of things that are going on in people's lives outside of their jobs. So if you could do it, I would do it. It shows credibility. It gives you a lot of backing to show, like, hey, this person's reliable. They're here. They're ready to work. It's the busy season. I know they need some overtime. Boom, this person's always going to like show up for us. Another thing is, just when you're there on time, you're putting yourself out there to say, hey, look, I'm a responsible adult. I know exactly what I need to get done, and here I am ready to work, right? It shows just self-accountability and just responsibility overall. And there's always been times where, let's say like you're a dishwasher and you show up to work on time every single day, and the prep cook just decides to stop, coming to work. That's an opportunity for you to really learn something else, because, once you understand the gist of washing dishes and, skeleton and orchestration and the soaps and all the ins and outs of the dish area, you always want to move on, and prep is always a good opportunity. If you show up to work every single day and you're there and you're ready to go, chances are that reliability and you being there is going to give you an opportunity just because you're responsible, right? Doesn't mean that you're going to be the best at it, or maybe you are going to be the best at it. You never know, but it's just a good trait to have, showing that you're able to be there when you're supposed to be there and you always show up. It always just opens up opportunities, and it's a good segue, especially if you work in a corporate or a franchise restaurant and location, and like when corporate comes in or when the regional people come in, and they normally come in the morning time and you normally don't work the morning. I don't know, it's just good exposure, if you know what I mean. Another thing is just it gives you another layer of communication. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're going to be 10 minutes late, right? You call before your scheduled time. You call at 8:50, right? Because you're scheduled at 9, and you just let a manager know, like, say, hey, I'm running 10 minutes late. The bus didn't show up when it was supposed to. Whatever the situation is, if you just communicate and are vocal about what's going on in your life, it's going to make your job a lot easier, because the managers, you're going to take that sense of relief and that stress off of yourself, and the manager's going to plan for the next 10-20 minutes. Because let's say, for example, you're a fry cook and you have fry prep that you have to do, where you got to like fry off chips and wontons or whatever you fry off that you make big batches of. The manager, the chef that's there, or the manager can turn on your equipment for you. So by the time that you get there, it's going to be hot, ready to go. Or they're going to communicate with somebody that maybe you're possibly training or you're being trained by, so that they can expect you at a certain time so that they can get going. Okay? But you got to understand, everyone, like I said, we're all human. So if you're a manager, okay, and you see a staff member, or an employee, and they've always been on time, but all of a sudden, like, they're showing up 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late every single day, and it's messing up your shift, it's messing up the flow of the restaurant, and you're just getting really upset with this person because they were just reliable, and all of a sudden they're not reliable. You, as a manager, as a chef, you have a responsibility to seek to understand, okay? Because this situation happened in one of the restaurants that I was running. Is one of my managers was constantly complaining about this lady who was a salad cook, and she would always show up 10-15 minutes late, right? And he had said he had multiple conversations with her about her being to work on time, and really just like, laying into this lady. And I told him, I said, and he asked me for advice, and I said, hey, well, why don't you see what's going on first before you assume that this lady just doesn't care about her job or doesn't care about being to work on time, And long story short, the manager found out that they had changed the bus route for her kid to get picked up from school. So she had to catch a later city bus after she dropped her kid off at the bus stop to get to work on time. So this lady's already doing so many things before she even comes to work, and she's trying her hardest to get to work on time, but it's out of her control, right? So then, what we did? We accommodated her. We apologized for not being more understanding. We accommodated her. So instead of her starting her shift at 9 o'clock, we scheduled her in at 9:15, so that, number one, she's not late, right? We know when she's going to come in. We're already preemptively setting her up, right? And then it gives such a relief to the staff member, because then they know that their management team really does care about them, and they know that things happen, and that sense of relief is such a huge weight that gets lifted off their shoulders, because all they want to do is come to work and do a great job. And how can they do that when they're under pressure, feeling like they're going to lose their job because things that are out of their control? So just be more understanding. That's all I'm trying to say. All right. The second thing that is going to be the most effective way to better yourself at your job is to work on your personal hygiene, okay? It's always like the awkward conversation in the room when managers are saying like, hey, this person like doesn't really smell the best or whatever it might be, and they don't know how to have that conversation with the staff members, and it just becomes really awkward. Okay, so number one, as an employee, as a staff member, you have an obligation to come to work clean, okay? There's no way around it. You have to take a shower, all right? You have to be clean when you come to work. I don't know what your shower schedule is, but you can't just consistently keep coming to work, working long hours, and then going home and doing whatever, and then coming to work and just gradually getting worse. You know, you have an obligation. We practice food safety in the restaurant, and we have to make sure that like we're not contaminating things by being not up to our, you know, personal hygiene standards, right? You have to make sure that you have clean fingernails at all times. You know, they used to have the deck brushes on the hand washing sinks that you could wash your fingers, and those are really good. But you know, whatever you got to do to make sure your fingernails are clean, make sure that happens, please. Another thing I've noticed before in restaurants is the dish team. You know, people are normally starting out as dishwashers. They're really just trying to get their footing down where they're whatever age that they're in. And a lot of times when they're working, their shirts and their pants get soaked, and then they get dirty, and then, you know, they do their best to try to maintain the clothes, but sometimes they just can't get to it. And that's understandable. So we as managers or people who are running, you know, that are in charge of staff members or employees, we have an obligation to make sure that if we offer uniforms, we offer enough uniforms for our staff members. Because maybe you're giving this person 2 t-shirts and they work 6 shifts. Like, how are they gonna be able to juggle those things, right? And if you don't have enough uniforms, then you need to order more uniforms. It's very simple, you know? And there's another thing you guys got to understand is that I want to go back to like the taking a bath thing, taking a shower thing. A lot of the times, and it's not to be rude, but a lot of the times as an employee or as a staff member, maybe you don't have access to those things. Your corporation, the business that employs you, can help you with those things. There's always relief programs where they could find you, you know, room and board if you're homeless and sleeping in your car, or they can tour guide you to some program that you can use from the government. There's always ways to better your life, especially if a business is willing to keep you on through like some of the rough times if you go through, you know, in your personal life. If you add value to the company should more than they should overcompensate you for really doing everything that you can, regardless of your situation, to show up to work. So I just wanted to be clear on that. Sorry about that. And if you have access to a shower, like you need to take a shower and you need to wear deodorant and you got to clean your nails, right? Some tips that I do is I go through a lot of clothes because I work in the morning. I shower, I work in the morning, then I come home at night, I change my clothes, I shower again. I always try to separate my work clothes, right? Because they smell like grease. They just have a lot of food particles and things on them that they don't smell the most pleasant. They smell like fried air, right? So I try to wash those clothes separately than my own personal clothes, because you don't want to get to that point where all your clothes are just mixed up with with your kids' clothes, and you just start smelling like a box of fries. You know what I'm saying? One thing also with personal hygiene, by law, per the health department, you cannot have any jewelry on. You can't have any facial piercings. The only thing you can have is a wedding band. That's it. You can't wear a necklace. Anything that's gonna fall into the food as a foreign object is not allowed. So when people, even when they wear, I'm guilty of it. Sometimes I wear my Apple Watch. That's actually a health code violation because the watch contains bacteria and it gets dirt in it and it's wet. And you're not supposed to. You're only supposed to have a wedding band and that's it. Just so that everybody is aware if they're not aware. If your restaurant allows it, that's cool, but like you have an obligation as a person who's serving the community to make sure that you're doing everything in your power to ensure like food safety through no foreign objects falling in the food, right? And that means like nails, no press on nails, and you also can't have any painted nails. So paint chips off in the food. So that's why it's super important that you shouldn't be having those things while you're working. Okay. Making sure you're cleaning the bottom of your non-slip shoes. Get some like it's always cool like in the mop sink area of a restaurant, you can kind of spray the bottom of your shoes off, or make sure that you have other pairs of shoes that you're changing into, whether you're getting in your car, like let's say you're getting out of your car to go to work, and then when you're leaving for work, like don't put your same shoes that you use to work all day on in your car, because that's just like food that gets stuck in between all those the non-slip cracks, and it's gross. You can smear it on the floor, and it sucks because the shoes they protect you, but they're really bad at taking in all the garbage on the floor. Also, you got to understand this. So if you don't have non-slip shoes, a lot of the companies that you work for, the restaurants, the big restaurant industries, they have programs where they could take like $10 out of your paycheck, every single paycheck, to pay off your shoes, because you need non-slip shoes to work. And it frustrates me when it's like, oh, I need a job. Okay, I got hired as a job, but I have no money, but I need to buy these shoes. I need to buy this uniform. I got to buy all these things, and I literally have no money. How am I supposed to afford all those things? You got to ask your companies. They have programs, shoes for crews. You could pay $10 a paycheck for certain companies. Walmart has them for $20 if you could scrape together $20. Even Amazon, you could buy stuff with Afterpay. I'm not giving you any financial advice. I'm just saying, like, there's avenues in order for you to get your stuff, to get the capital, to get the tools that you need to do your job. You know what I'm saying? Okay. One thing that I really want to talk about is hand washing. Okay. When you're supposed to wash your hands with hot soapy water for 20 to 30 seconds. And what determines hot water is as hot as you can handle, literally. And then you wash it for 20 to 30 seconds, okay? It's extremely important that if you're a smoker and you go out to smoke, you need to wash your hands twice. Once when you come back in the restaurant, and then once when you get back on your station, whether you're a server in the front or whatever you do in the restaurant. Those are the rules. Those are the standards. The same thing when you use the bathroom or the restroom, whatever you got to do. When you're done using the restroom, you wash your hands in the restroom, and then you wash your hands in the kitchen, and then you wash your hands again when you put your gloves on. So it says 2, but it's technically like a 3-part, because nobody's watching you wash your hands in the bathroom. We're just assuming that you wash your hands, right? Okay. I just wanted to be very clear on those things. And that's why I say, dirty, it all goes hand in hand. If your fingernails are dirty and you're telling me you're washing your hands, like, what are you washing your hands with? There's no way that what are you washing your hands with? Your fingers are not up to par. Like, that's not okay. All right? Sorry. It just bothers me a lot, especially when I see people that are like that, and they want to talk about their food, and it's like, you're touching my food with your bare hands, and your fingernails are dirty, Okay, lastly, one big thing that you can improve, that can help you improve and make you the most effective at your job, is to ask for help. Everyone is so prideful nowadays. They don't want to, they want to do it all by themselves, right? They want people to see how busy they are, or they think that they're better than what they actually are. And what ends up happening is the guest suffers, right? Because the food's taking too long. You're too wrapped up in these individual orders, when in all reality, we got to crank this food out, and it needs to look good, but we got to get it done in a timely manner, right? So it's always a thing in the kitchen, like pride. Okay, look, when you hit a level in your career, whether you're a cook, a prep, cook, a dishwasher, a manager, a sous chef, whatever level you're at in your growth and your development in the restaurant, sometimes pride gets the best of us, and that stifles our development, right? So it's like when you promote a line cook to a kitchen manager, right? The first thing they want to do in their kitchen manager role is cook. They want to bail out the station that they know like the back of their hand. That's not good leadership. That's pride taking over and saying, you know what, man, I'm going to help these guys. Look at me. I'm a manager now. That doesn't help anybody. It just strokes your own ego. What the better thing is to say, look, I know how to get through this rush. I've seen this situation multiple times. I'm going to go back there and I'm going to assist them. And I'm going to explain to them how we need to orchestrate this so that we can get this food out efficiently and it's going to look good and taste good at the same time. That's strong leadership. You know, pride is the one where I'll do the job myself because I'm better and that's it. Well, you can be better by yourself, but I'm going to tell you that your development is going to suffer tremendously, okay? Also, when you're asking for help, you're helping the flow of the tickets, the flow of the kitchen, okay? So if you're on appetizers, for example, and you're like a full service restaurant that does appetizers, entrees, and desserts, if the appetizer station is getting slammed, the next thing's gonna be is the entrees, right? So if you're there getting rocked by yourself with, 20 tickets on the fry station, right? Or appetizer station or salad station or pizza, whatever station that cranks out, a lot of appetizers, ask for help because it'll help with the flow of the tickets because it starts at the appetizers. If you're not executing in a timely manner because you're too prideful to ask for help to get these tickets out, because maybe you're cooking all the food and all you need is help plating the food. Right? Hey, I need somebody to help me plate. They're asking for fries. They want these appetizers, and they also want this side of ketchup. All these things are happening while I'm still dropping food and frying it. You got to ask for help. Just have somebody come up, slide over, and be like, hey, dude, can you help me plate? Like, let's get this food out real quick. And then you can be freed up. I can restock my station. Then I can support, right? You always want to be able and willing to like help each other out. It makes the flow of the restaurant better. Okay, so when you're also working side by side with people who are better than you, right, on your stations that come and help you and support you and help you bail the station, you can look at them, you can ask them for guidance, you can learn new things, you could show them new things. It's just a good, open, healthy conversation to really get ultimately the food out to the customer. We're learning, we're developing, and we're enjoying the job that we're doing. You know what I mean? You have to, at the same time though, you can't just ask for help anytime where you feel like you can't handle it. I feel like with staff members, I like to try to stretch them a little bit, like elasticity, like a sock. The more that you wear it and use it, it starts to stretch more and more. You have to see what you're capable of first. You can't just ask for help every time you feel like you can't handle it. You really have to push yourself first and see what you can or can't do. Maybe you're setting up your station wrong. Maybe the communication is a little bit delayed, or maybe it's an orchestration thing where you're trying to plate the food before you're even starting the food, or you're not consolidating the tickets and doing an all-day total count as opposed to, oh, I have an order of, want to use work as an escape because, there's so many things happening outside of work that they really want to focus on there. So they give a lot of attention to detail. They give a lot of emotion, a lot of things into what they're doing. Just make sure that we're there to support them and help them and develop them, be the safe space for your people. That's essentially what I'm trying to say. Thank you all so much for watching this podcast. I feel happy that the YouTube channel is growing. We're looking at different series of things, cleaning the equipment, step by step. We're doing the cooking videos, how to cook something, the recipes. If you guys have any suggestions for new videos, I'll do viral food videos. Just tell me what it is, and my wife can figure it out once you guys give us like a list of them. But I don't have social media. I don't do social media. I only post the videos and I live stream through Twitch, which live streams to YouTube. But thank you all so much, dude. I'm super excited. I'm happy. I'm so excited to see where this journey takes us. And thank you all for so much support. We are so grateful. God is good, and we are so happy that you guys are here to join this journey with us. So with that being said, thank you all so much and have a great Monday. Peace.